Okay, my couture crafters, let's see what I am up to today. I want to try Trapuncto, and why, I don't know, because it's got texture and I like texture. And also, I need to learn how to quilt. I need to figure out if I can free motion quilt, or I need to figure out stuff, and there's only one way to learn, and that is trying stuff and practicing things, and that's it. That's only one way to do it. And I was curious to know if I was going to be a natural at anything, if I was just going to be able to bust out stuff that's amazing right off the bat. Nope, I can't. And again, I think it's so funny because I tell paper crafters when I'm teaching paper crafting, like, why do you feel like the first time you do something, it has to be perfect? Probably not going to be perfect, and I'm really starting to understand that through this journey of me learning to sew. So I've got this panel of fabric that I like, and I figured it would be a good panel to try this Trapuncto. I am not a huge cat person, but most of the people that I know are randomly. So I'm cutting out these cats, and the ones that I want to use are the ones that I'm cutting the largest border around. So that cat that was stretching right there, I wish they had it in purple, but they didn't. They had this purple cat, which I didn't love, but I ended up trying this one for the first one. So what I'm going to do is cut that out. Then I cut out some really super thick batting. This has a lot of loft to it. It's just thick. And I had it doubled over there, but I only cut, well, I guess I cut 2 layers, but I only used 1 layer. And here's that 1 layer right there. So I grabbed a layer and I put the panel over it, making sure that it covered all the areas that I wanted to be thick. And I'm going to start basting. And I got this tool, and I figured this would be a great time to use it. It's called Quick with the K, Clip with the K. And it is probably one of my best buys thus far. I have long nails, and when I'm paper crafting, I know what tools to use to do what. Starting this new journey, I'm starting from scratch. I don't know anything at all. And so I'm just trying to find the things that will work for me. These really work for me. And putting these little backs on is super fun. I will probably sit near watching TV one day and just put all the backs on as many as I can. And I think I'm going to buy another bag. Those will fit the small ones and the large ones, and they really do help with being able to hold them and use them to grasp. Those little clippy, those little pretty Lego looking thingies really do help you hold them. So here I'm going through and I'm attaching them with my needle nose pliers, and it's working out really well. Have the time of my life putting the little safety pins in their little holders. Can't wait to do some more. Matter of fact, when I'm driving this weekend on my way to San Diego, maybe I'll just sit and do this. Great idea. So that's me basting. All I'm doing at this point is putting that super thick batting on the back of this fabric. I don't know if I'm doing anything right. Trapuncto I learned from Man Sewing, who is like my spirit animal, and in a lot of ways. I love his color stories. I love his teaching. He's kind of amazing. So this is me. I'm going to trace the cat and the border. Those are the parts that I want to be super thick. So this is me, and I'm using a free motion presser foot here. I don't love my free motion presser foot. I wish I could figure out how to turn this light off so you guys could see better. I don't love it because it's metal and I can't see that great. I'm like, come on, help me out here. But as you see, needle in the down position, I'm lifting that presser foot and turning that sucker around, and I'm pretty good at tracing lines. Who would have known? With the sewing machine. I'm pleased with that. And trying to figure out how to make the stitches the same. I had a good time with this. It took a little bit of time. I'm not super fast. I took my time, and I was able to really trace this shape out. So I might try it again. I'm enjoying myself. I didn't sew over any needles. I did not shred my thread. I didn't break any needles. So for my first time out the gate, there are some things that are, there's some definite positives to it. But again, I realized that my darning foot, I don't love the fact that it's all metal and I can't really see where I'm going. Also, I used a super light thread. I used a white natural color thread to do my quilting. And I like the effect, but when it comes to being able to see where I've been and where I'm going, I can't. So I'm kind of flying blind. Also, at some point, I added my extender to my sewing machine so that I could really try to quilt. I cannot wait until my duckbill bent applique scissors get here, because I was scared as I don't know what that I was going to cut through that fabric. Thank God I didn't, but I was nervous. I need some better scissors for doing that. But I was able to cut away all the parts except for the cat and the border, which is what I wanted to be super fluffy. So you cut that away, and then I'm adding some regular batting, some regular cotton batting to the back. And now I'm making a quilt sandwich, so I'm adding the back fabric too. And this is some fabric from that same line that I thought would go cute on the back. Actually, this is just kind of pretty fabric, but I bought too much because I don't really know how much fabric I use and which directions to cut it yet. So now I have a whole bunch of this fabric, and I don't want to have a bunch of scraps. I know people are like, oh, you can make a quilt and bust your scraps down. I don't want to have a bunch of scraps. I don't have room for that. I have projects in mind, and none of the projects going forward in mind need these little pretty hearts or anything like that. So I'm annoyed by how much fabric I'm purchasing, because I really don't know how to buy fabric that makes sense for how much you're going to use. But I'll learn, because you don't know until you know. You've got to figure these things out. And I'm flying very, very, very blind. I do not have a quilting friend, and I wish I did. I wish I had somebody I could go to every day and say, hey, this is what I want to try. Have you ever tried this? But I don't, so this is what it is. So you guys, let me know if you stumble across these videos. Please let me know what you guys are doing out there and what I'm not doing right, and the things that will make this easier, so on and so forth, because I am flying blind. And apparently I have a super long little pause here. I must have stepped away. I don't know where I went, but here I am. I'm back. And I guess I start basting here again with those super cute safety pins that I love so much. So I'm putting together my quilt sandwich, making sure that this is going all over the back, and smoothing it out. And there I'm flossing that needle, bringing that bobbin thread up. I love doing that. I have an automatic thread cover, which you can see right below the singer, right below the word singer. And I love it, but it leaves the bobbin thread at the bottom, and you can sometimes make a mess. My machine does a pretty good job of not making a big mess, but I find that it's best just to bring that bobbin thread to the top, which is an extra step, but it does look a little bit better on the back. So here I'm just kind of doing some ribbon style free motioning, just trying to see if I can keep my stitches kind of the same length apart, trying to see if I can be somewhat consistent in any kind of way, kind of meandering, kind of playing, and kind of trying to get through this, because I was really ready to finish this and move on to the next project, whatever that's going to be. I also learned something about quilting all the way to the edge. You need to do that. That's important, so that your binding can cover it all up, unless there's a design style. I did pretty good with keeping my stitches the same length apart. Again, this is just a learning process, so that's what it is. Binding. Bias tape and me, I don't know why I thought this was going to work, but there is not enough fabric to fold over to hide the binding in the back. It's not long enough. It's not enough. I screwed this up some kind of way. I've never used bias tape before, and I've never seen anyone use bias tape before. I just saw that they had it. And it's a 3-inch strip where I guess it was pressed down the middle, and then the edges were folded into the center. Maybe I should have opened it up before I used it. Probably. What I did find out is that I could do a quilt sandwich and use my regular foot, my regular universal foot, to just sew down the side without my feed dogs or without the sandwich catching. It wasn't angry at all. The feed dogs, everything fed nicely. I also learned... What's up, couture crafters? I am here with a video haul, all the things, kind of, sort of. So I just showed you guys my cat, which is right here. And let's talk about it a little bit. Things that I learned. First thing is this bias tape. No, this is not for me. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I think what I should have done was opened it sewed and then rolled, but maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured out exactly how to use this properly. Probably need to watch a tutorial on this because it just didn't go right. So in theory, the way that I did it before was I took a 2.5 inch strip, folded in half, pressed it, put the raw sides together, ran a seam up, and then I was able to fold it over nicely. There was enough binding to wrap. Here, no, it's a fail. There's not enough binding to wrap and cover my seam on the back. Excuse me. So this is a fail, which is unfortunate because this is my first time trying free motion quilting, and I'm really entertained by what happened. Excuse me again. What is going on? Why am I sneezing? I'm really entertained by this, and I thought this would have been just gorgeous as a little, you know, just as a little something in my first attempt at free motion quilting and blah blah blah, but it was a fail. So what I tried to do was press this down as flat as possible, and then this can just be a little wall hanging for whomever is going to get my first piece that looks a hot mess. But that's the cool thing about giving people stuff. You can give people stuff that's not perfect, and they have to kind of pretend like it's cute. Like it's okay, which is so funny to me. Because after I've made a project, I'm over it. And there are very few things that I keep. I usually give everything away or toss it, because once it's out, it's out. So what I was going for was I was trying to echo this. Now I Zentangle, so this is not an uncommon shape for me. However, quilting it, it feels different. I didn't have gloves, so okay. So moving it was a little funky. And also I'd love to put a Teflon surface on my sewing machine so that it slips a little bit easier. But I didn't have that available at the time. So yeah, I started over here. Hot mess, super tight. And again, I tried Trapuncto. So that is having something with a lot of relief to it. It's nice and puffy in areas, and then you quilt very, very densely around it so that it packs it down even more, and so the object looks even more puffy. And I was able to get some really nice loft here. It's puffy. I like it. It's a really cool technique. Of course, I would try something like this because I like texture. I'm a texture girl, so it came out pretty cool. Here is where I started to feel a little bit more comfortable. You can kind of see the shapes taking a more defined shape over here. Of course, I've gone over my stitches, and over here I just did one continuous ribbon line. It was fun, and I enjoyed it, learned some things, tried the magic binding right here. It is not by any means perfect, but I know why it's not. I sewed way too close together, and I didn't give myself enough space to work. So I can totally see how magic binding would work, and probably will be my binding method of choice going forward. Again, free motion quilting, fine. It was fun to play with. I am not an artist, you know, a freehand artist, so maybe not. So what happened is I decided to purchase all of the rulers in the world, because God forbid I just buy one and see if I like it. But they had the whole set on Amazon, so I figured I'd just get them. The one that I wanted the most was Elvira. I wanted her. She is gorgeous to me. Just beautiful. And so I've got some ideas to play with her. These are all by, I think these are Angela Walters, which is somebody that I watch. I watch Midnight Quilt Show, and then I'm also following just Angela Walters. And then she has another one. Can't remember the name, but Angela Walters for the win, guys, because she is all over the place. And she's got these, all of these are her rulers. And then I bought a little foot. One of the problems that I ran into was that I couldn't see where the heck I was going. One, because I'm using the world's lightest thread that matches very well with the background. And then two, the stupid darning foot is silver and I can see. I would love to have an open toe darning foot if one exists. But this one here is clear. I can't get it out the little ziplocky here. But it's a clear foot. Ouch. Hurting myself. There we go. It's a clear foot. And so I think this might help with a little of the walking, you know, free motion. And also it's got a nice thick rim that goes right up against these rulers. At least that's what I'm told. You guys know I don't know anything about anything. I am learning on camera for everybody to see. So I bought all of these rulers, very excited about this shape. I bought a ton of these because I see that now I will need them. These are smaller than these. And this thing right here that I purchased off of Amazon is so awesome. Again, I have long nails and I'm not going to cut them. Between this and that little quick clip, that the tool with the wooden handle that helps you open and close these, absolutely. For basting, yes. I don't know how people do it without that. Maybe they don't have half-inch long nails, blah, blah, blah. Love these. I'm going to totally put these on, as many of these as I can, and probably buy another packet of those. I found these to be super helpful. Loved it. I also talked about this in my other video, the sew line package that came with a bunch of little things to test the sew line with. The sew line brand, I guess. Love this pencil on dark fabric. I will probably always do white and black fabric or a dark fabric, and I couldn't find a marking pen or pencil that was working for me. This sucker did. These are so cool. I'm so glad that I purchased this. It marks really easily and then just dusted right away, like totally erased itself away when I needed it to. So I'm really happy about this. I got this from Kimono Ono on Etsy. I got that whole set from her. And I have a clover seam ripper because people say this is one of the best ones, and it looks like it will fit my hand nicely for when I need to seam rip. And then I bought a 1/4 inch walking foot, not a walking foot, a 1/4 inch quilting foot. And I'm excited about that because my next actual project, my quilt, will be the Jelly Roll Race. I thought I left out the fabric that I want to use, which, ouch, I talked about. I knew that I wanted to do white and black stripes, and so now I have this jelly roll that I got from Joann's. Perfect, excited about that. And then I will be putting these strips. This is a jelly roll that I bought super long time ago, and I will be incorporating these ombre strips into the race quilt some kind of way, and I'm hoping that it will come out just as beautiful as I see it in my head. Yeah, right. So this weekend, all about the, oh gosh, it's my anniversary. I'm not gonna be home. Maybe I'll try quilting in a day like Eleanor Burns on Friday. Try to knock out a whole quilt. We'll see, guys. But this will be my next project, I think. I have a couple more cats. I wanted a purple cat in a stretching pose, but I could not. I didn't see it. So I have a couple more cats. I might try one more cat and then quilting with a ruler on that, and then onto my jelly roll. Onto my jelly roll race quilt. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Ask me questions, tell me things, tell me all the things. If you are an experienced sewer or somebody who sews more than me, which would probably be everybody because I just started sewing like last week, like literally like last week, maybe the week before. So tell me things, tell me what I need to buy. Don't tell me to stop buying because that will never happen, but let me know what you think. Again, this is my first time freehand motion quilting, and it was interesting. We learned a lot. One of the biggest things that I learned is don't be scared to step on the pedal. You got to give it a little something. And I'm glad to have played with that. And I'm going to try it again with these rulers and see what we get. Again, this is that Relief Trapuncto type quilting. Love it. And I'm going to give this to somebody. I am going to take some more of this tape and sew a hanger on the back, and somebody will get this and watch. They're going to be all happy about it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, right. Real quilters know, but it does look kind of interesting, and there are a ton of people out there that I know that like cats, so hopefully somebody will enjoy having this. All right, guys, thanks again. All right, bye-bye.